And we're live. Welcome back, Strongman Personal Finance. I'm Christopher Bell, your handsome host, and I have my weekly guest, the hot, the deliciousness, the sexiness, the superstitiousness, Jay NAUGY. Welcome.
So, those guys that you did the podcast with, they were pretty interesting.
Oh, Capital Mindset?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty smart guys. I was like, oh, people that look at fundamentals. This is unusual. Let me see what they have to say.
I didn't listen to all of it. I listened to like 45 minutes of it. But they seemed pretty on the ball.
Yeah, like one's an accountant, the other one's a I couldn't really figure out what he does. He's like some kind of finance professional. Can't really tell.
No, I like the fact that they brought up how Jeremy was confused about what a discounted cash flow was. He said you can't pump numbers into a calculator and get an idea of what the stock is worth. And I was like,
wait, Jeremy said that? He said you can't put numbers in a calculator and figure out an intrinsic value for a stock. That's impossible.
He said that on that when the Everything Money used their software to figure out what the tattooed chef would be worth. He said that. He's like, you can't put that into a calculator and figure out the intrinsic value, which you've been on the internet for doing this for about 6 years now, and you still don't know what a discounted cash flow is.
Well, he's a story investor. I mean, he's not a mathematician. He doesn't know. I don't think he knows anything about finance besides, basic stuff like what's a PE ratio. He finds a story that he likes, and then that's the stock that he buys.
Well, you said it. Like caveman. Well, you said it. You said it best when he was calling the financial sheets balance sheets. I never even paid attention to it. But I was like, I would think it occasionally be like, they're not balance sheets, dudes. But I kind of ignored it. And then you brought it up and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, if somebody says financial statements are balance sheets, they have no idea what they're talking about. I mean, you don't have to be a genius in accounting, but you should know how to read financial statements and how the statement of cash flows is made, how the income statement works. If you don't know that, you're going to have a hard time, doing any kind of fundamental analysis.
Well, yeah, that, and I mean, like I said, if you don't want to learn all that, why don't you just invest in index funds?
Because it's boring, Jay. I want a 10x in 5 seconds. I hate you boomers.
The funny thing is when I do like a stock's intrinsic value, if it's a decent company like Microsoft and I say, hey, it's overvalued right now, look to pick it up around here, I get compliments. But if I do something about like tattooed chef or whatever, it's nothing but hate. And I'm like,
Jay, just say it's going to the moon and you'll have 100,000 subscribers in like 2 weeks. Okay, all you gotta do is pump the worst stocks and you can become a massive YouTuber.
No, I know, but I don't get it. I'm like, I get it, I guess, because it's like ignorant people. But you would think there'd be some level of hate too when I'm saying, all right, Microsoft's at a 35 price to earnings ratio. We want to pick this thing up below 15.
Well, you can do the same thing for tattoo. Well, are you saying to pick up tattooed chef at a certain price and they're still freaking out on you? Like, are they just more fanatical?
No, I used its total assets and divided by shares outstanding, and it came to a share price of 77 cents, but that's not accounting for the massive dilution.
And people say you can't do discounted cash flow for growth companies. I mean, you can, because at some point people are projecting that company's going to be profitable. So you need to really... Yeah, you can totally do a discount because that's the whole point. You're buying a business because you want it to pay you. You want it to be profitable.
I mean, you get the money. You can extrapolate it out using math. Well, if they grow at 50% a year, they'll turn positive at this point, and then it'll grow from there. But for a lot of these companies, you're looking at 6-7 years before they'll turn profitable. So that's only like 3 years of earnings per share where you're actually earning money. But tattoo, like you can get an idea of what a stock is worth by just doing what I said. You take the total assets, that's everything, and everything money, it's really easy. It's right at the bottom. It just says total shareholder equity. You don't have to do any math on it. You just divide it by the shares outstanding, and that's approximately what your stock is worth. But whether you like it or not, Tattooed Chef is worth 77 cents because it has no cash flows. So I would only be guessing. So I can only say, if I could buy this company and liquidate it, what would my shares be worth?
Yeah, Jeremy has a super simple formula. He literally projects revenue growth, and then he's like, okay, I think the price to sales in the future will be this. And that's how he gets the future market cap of the company. And that's basically it. It's like, okay, the market cap's here now. This is what I think the market cap is going to be. Therefore, I'm going to buy it. Even though that's not factoring in share dilution, but still.
It's not factoring in share dilution, and it's stupid for this reason. You don't know. You're saying market cap means nothing.
It only means something if you buy literally the entire company.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you own like a couple shares, market cap is like.
Yeah, it can be useful for figuring out what a stock is worth. But then again, your PE ratio of 25 versus 15 is going to give you a different market cap. So when he does that and he goes, well, and another weird thing he does, man, and I can't figure out what the logic behind it is besides he's stupid, is the total addressable market. And I go, okay, who cares what the total addressable market is? I don't care. You're only, I mean, ultimately, you're just, when you say this is what I think the total addressable market cap is, all you're doing is adding another variable in that you don't know and you have to guess at.
Well, you got to think, here's probably why he mentions that, because in order to sell people his course and his Discord and whatever he does, whatever stupidity he teaches, he has to make it seem super complicated. Otherwise, what's the point in paying him to do anything? So that's why he has all this other crap that he talks about. He's kind of mysterious about his investing philosophy, because then he couldn't make money if he was more open about it. Whereas we're like, hey, make a freaking discounted cash flow model. Here's how you do it, or use everything money. And that's it. That's all you got to do. And make sure you have reasonable assumptions. But
well, that's another thing. Like I redid the BABA stuff. And I said, one of the major problems that I have with everybody's estimates on BABA is they're not addressing what the market cap would be and whether that sounds reasonable. So like I went back through and I said a $2.5 trillion market cap for Alibaba in 2031 seems reasonable. But if I go up and I say 20% growth, then that's a $3.7 trillion market cap at a 15 PE ratio.
Honestly, man, I can see that for BABA. I mean, China has a billion freaking people, man. And then you got countries around it.
I agree with that. I agree with what you're saying there. I say that that's feasible. Then when you go to like 25% growth, you're looking at like a $5.5 trillion market cap. And it becomes a point that these people, when they're projecting down the line, they're not doing, a lot of them, is looking at their market cap and asking if that's reasonable. BABA at a $2.5 trillion market cap is completely reasonable to me in 2031. 3.7, you're starting to, I can see it, but you're starting to get outside of what I would think would be a realistic possibility. Once you get into the 4 trillion, 5 trillion range, you've lost me. I'm like, this is 10 years away. You know what I mean? And, you know, when you look at, like, it's the same thing I said about Microsoft. A $2.5 trillion market cap seems about right for Microsoft 10 years from now. They're like a $1.2 trillion company right now. It's what I'd have to go back and look, but that's what their cash flows justify.
Yeah. Who was the guy that you said was like projecting some company to be like super massive? Like Microsoft is going to be 7 trillion.
That was Cameron Stewart, and it's a guy who I respect on his ability to do a discounted cash flow. But when he said that, I was like, bro, you're not using common sense here. You're an intelligent dude that should have asked himself questions like $7 trillion 10 years from now. That's all.
Sorry.
That means that your free cash flows. I mean, you do the math. Is that
What's
what is
7 trillion? What do you think? Like price to free cash flow of what? 15?
if you do 15 or 20? I mean, you're at a ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like probably like 400 billion a
It's like
year
$1.4 trillion, right?
for a if you have a 7 trillion
A free cash flow multiple of 20.
Oh,
Or
so
is my
it'd be
math?
7.
I'm sorry, I woke up from
divided by 20.
yeah,
Yeah,
I just woke up from a nap, so my math could be completely off.
it's okay, guys. I'm drinking beer, so if I say anything stupid, it's Jay's fault because he basically forced me to drink tonight.
Yes, I sent a telepathic message from my nap.
He said, Chris, I will kill your whole family if you don't drink beer. So it's like, all right, Jay, fine.
But I mean, it comes to a point where you're like, you have to look at, is this market cap reasonable? You know, and that escapes a lot of people too. At least a lot of like good investors, everything money included. Sometimes I look at the market cap of like your high end range and I'm like, boy, I realize this is just math, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and it's actually good. We can always talk about this because like in like 10 years from now, if we're still doing this, you know, I might be dead from like Meet Kevin assassinating me with one of his lackeys. But if I'm still alive, you know, we can talk and be like, hey, is Baba big enough now where you should probably sell it? It's probably not going to grow as much. Because at some point, I'm going to sell Bob. I don't know if it's in the 300 range, 400 range, 500 range, but I am going to sell it eventually. I'm not going to hold it for freaking ever because that's not what I do. I'm an index investor.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But like, I mean, hold on a second. So
You see a comment?
no, so at a $3.6 trillion market cap with no share dilution, you're looking at $469. Discounted at 10%, and that would give you a share price of $1,218 in 2031.
You're talking about Baba, right?
I'm talking about Bob.
Yeah, if Bob, because
So,
like,
I mean,
here's what I think is going to happen. Here's
if
what I think
I
my theory about Bob. I think eventually all this crap's going to blow over, but I think Bob is going to shoot up and it's going to go way beyond its intrinsic value.
I agree.
Yeah, because once that fear goes away, you're going to see massive buying, in my opinion. And
I agree.
At that point.
I agree too. And I don't know what my get out price is, but it's probably at about a 40 price to earnings ratio, somewhere in there. If it gets to like Amazon's price to earnings ratio, I'm selling. Because that'll mean I've made massive profit. And I mean, I'm like you. The only thing that I really have, yes, my preferred buy and hold time is forever, but that's index funds. Stocks, I just think that stocks, when they become irrationally expensive, you sell them. Like Tesla.
Yeah, dude, it doesn't make sense to me why none of these guys don't sell Tesla. I think some people made like 1,400%. It's like, dude, sell your freaking stock. You know, and you can always, if you love the company, you always have to think, if you own a company, an individual stock, you have to look at it and say, right now, would I rebuy it? If you wouldn't rebuy that stock at that point, it's probably overvalued. And you should sell it and wait till you can get a better buy point or look for another opportunity.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, but there's something to be said that if you just maintain the weighting in your portfolio, you'll do fine. Like if you said, okay, I bought Tesla, it's at 2%, and then there was that run up, and every so often you were selling it off to try and keep it at 2%, you'd be fine. Because a lot of these people, what's going to happen is when Tesla finally corrects, it's going to destroy their portfolio.
Oh, I mean, all the big YouTubers, it's like Jeremy LaFufu. He has a huge position. Solving the money problem, that idiot. He has like 100% Tesla, basically. Chicken butt crack. He's got almost 100% Tesla. These guys are going to get freaking annihilated when they could literally sell their Tesla right now put it in an index fund and retire right freaking now. But they're not going to do it because they think Tesla's going to go up like that again. That's how freaking crazy they are.
Well, when you listen to these morons and somebody says, well, I think Tesla to $29,000. Like, okay, if they had any common sense, what they would do is they would go out and they would just run what the market cap would be on that. And that's like a $10 trillion company, just throwing it out there off the top of my head.
We're going to have robots, bro. Come on.
And so it becomes a thing. So like, you think that Tesla in 10 years is going to grow to the size of half of the U.S. economy?
Dude, I am so sick of this stupid stock. Like, it just bothers me that it's still worth. And dude, the market was down, I think, and Tesla went up like 2%. Now it's probably like $800 billion market cap. I was like, what? Come on. Can this stock freaking die already? I'm sick of it.
It's not going to until a lot of people realize they're never getting the value out of the company. And it's going to take a while. It's going to take multiple disappointing quarters because Tesla just couldn't produce enough cars. And then it's going to be like the shocking realization that Tesla is really just another car company and legacy automakers actually have a massive advantage over them.
It pisses me off, man. It's like, okay. And people think, oh, you're mad you didn't buy it. It's like, no. I hate when super irrational stocks stay irrational for a long period of time because it's just so it's ludicrous. I mean, right now the market cap is $766 billion. I mean, come on, that's like almost twice the size of Alibaba. The size of Alibaba.
I think what was Alibaba's? It's
probably like 400 something, or maybe
it's 394 billion.
You know, and people are like, "Oh, you can't compare Tesla to Alibaba." It's like, yeah, I can, because when you're buying a business, you're buying cash flows. It doesn't matter what the business is. You're buying cash flows. So you would rather buy a business, in my opinion, that produces more cash flows for a much cheaper price. But
which is why I pointed you to Walmart versus Amazon.
Oh yeah, I would totally buy Walmart over Amazon. God,
dude, Amazon is. It was like, and again, we go back to what a bunch of morons these guys are. Is LaBeefy recommending Amazon at 3,200, and I'm like, bro, if you just looked at this from common sense, from a free cash flow perspective, their free cash flows do not justify the market cap that they currently hold.
It's a story. It's a great story. They're basically taking over the world. You know, they're taking over the world. And they've grown a lot recently. I mean, that's basically his justification. There's no logic. There is a stupid logic to why he buys his stocks, but he does not do any fundamental analysis whatsoever. I don't even think he knows how to really read a statement of cash flows. I really don't.
Did you watch those videos on the stuff I put up from him in his Palantir deep dive?
Yeah, I watched the Palantir one.
Yeah, okay. That just tells you right there that the dude doesn't know what he's talking about. When he's like, I don't figure out intrinsic value in the same way he does. Because he's trying to figure out market cap, which I've already told you is a stupid way to try and figure out the value of a company. But when he was running on the price, you've done price to sales, so you know how to calculate the intrinsic value from price to sales. I don't. I could take the fucking 20 minutes and go and learn how to do it if I wanted to, but I have. Yeah,
I'll teach you right now.
But this is the only thing I would say is I have my ways that I like to figure out stuff. I like to run my gram number before I do anything. I like to figure out.
It's the most stupid thing you could do. All you do is you project the revenue, and in the year that you want, the ending year of your model, you multiply that by that revenue number by whatever sales multiple that you choose. It's as simple as that.
That's what I thought. So when I was looking at his terminal values, I'm like, why are you using a 40 terminal value? That's what I couldn't understand. I was like,
he used 40 for Palantir?
Yeah, he used a fucking terminal value of 40. And I was like,
in what year? How far did the model go?
5 or 10 years, bro. Right now, I'm being pretty conservative from a cash flow perspective. On Alibaba, I'm using a terminal value of 7. And that's just, I took all of the cash flows and added them up over 10 years. So I just said, okay, I'll just count Baba as growing 7% in perpetuity. That's why my terminal value is 7. And that's why on 3M, I used a 3 terminal value. I said it's going to grow at about inflation. But I mean, even then, I'm getting a $591 stock. And I like to keep my numbers conservative. So I'm like, where are you getting this 40 for a terminal value?
I'm actually calculating the price to free cash flow of Palantir. Do you want to guess what it is?
No.
It's 900.
What?
900.
It doesn't even make any sense.
900 price to free cash flow. Palantir actually did have free cash flow over the last 4 quarters.
I know. That's why, like, somebody called me a moron for doing a discounted cash flow on it. But
I mean, they do have free cash flow. It's just,
it's 900.
900 market cap divided by the last 12 months of free cash flow is 900.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
You know what confuses me is he's had a bunch of terrible plays, right? Like the tanker stock, Nordic and American tankers, all that crap. But none of those stocks are in his like public portfolio. It's kind of weird, you know? It's like it just seems like he just made a bunch of like home runs every single time, and all those bad stocks just seem to disappear. I don't understand.
Yeah, well, I mean, go back to was 2016 when he went all in on GoPro. I'm like, how do you guys, if you watch this channel, not know this about? How are you guys not putting this together about him? That he's a con artist. Like, first off, this is what I'm gonna say about that dude. Meet Kevin. I think he's dumb enough to believe what he actually does. It makes sense to him. I don't think Kevin is fake. I think he's a swarmy little D-bag. And I think that's how he is, man. But I think that's his real personality. Jeremy just comes across as fake to me. Just everything about him is fake. Everything that comes out of his mouth is fake. He doesn't believe. And when you look at his body language, a lot of times it's not in congruence with what he's saying.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm trying to like, I wish I was a psychology major because you can tell that he has this like huge drive to just be a billionaire. He wants to be a billionaire. And I really don't think he cares how he gets that.
He doesn't.
I don't know what he's compensating for. I mean, it's okay to like want to be successful. I don't have a problem with that. But he seems to be like super highly focused on just, I must be a billionaire. And it's almost like whatever I got to do, I'm going to do it, which is why he's such a freaking scam artist.
Yeah, I think for the most part, most people, I think he can succeed on video because it's only 20 minutes of your time. And it's generally pretty hard to read people in that time unless you have experience. But yeah, I think in real life, he's compensating for the fact that people can tell that he's fake and they don't want to be around him. So he's like, oh, I'll just become a billionaire. So that, and it comes from a place of like him wanting you to be in awe of him. Oh, he's a billionaire. Like, I don't care. Like, if I had $1 billion, I wouldn't have $1 billion. I'd keep like 100 million of it and give the rest away. Be like, what do I need $1 billion for?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird goal. It's like my goal is to be financially independent.
Yeah.
If I become a billionaire, which I don't think I'm going to be, but even if I did, that's an incidental thing on the side. My goal is not to have that status. My goal is to be financially free, where I can do and say whatever I want, which I think is a more legitimate goal than I just want to be a billionaire. Because once you get there, well, it's like, oh, well, there's other billionaires. You know, there's guys that have 200 billion. You're never going to be satisfied because you're always trying to get that next status level.
I'm with you. Like, to me, my goal is financial independence, so I can just say whatever ridiculous thing comes to mind. I couldn't care less about being a billionaire. I care less about having a yacht. Like, if somebody gave me a free yacht, I'd sell it. And he'd be like, you don't want
Oh
this?
yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, it's a depreciating, expensive asset. Oh, immediately sell that piece of crap.
Oh,
Instant.
dude, I gotta go and listen to it. But Rogan had Patrick Bet David on.
I'm making a video on that dude pretty soon. That guy's a freaking scumbag.
Well, he's talking to Rogan about like the baseball card market. And I'm like, again, I have to go back and watch it because I think this dude thinks that baseball cards are an investment. I really do. I really think that he thinks that. And he also talks about crypto a lot. I'm like, I said it before on here. I go, you have a business and you don't understand that any asset's value is just its cash flows.
Dude, even like super famous people can be freaking stupid when it comes to investing. You know, once you realize that, and I know you realize that, but like once people realize that, then you don't really want to even pay attention to the news because even if it's somebody that's official and they have a suit and they're rich, they could be a freaking idiot. That's why you just need to do your own due diligence.
Well, dude, what about Steven Seagal pushing crypto? And I'm like, I was
Hey,
like trying to
Joe.
write, I was trying to write a joke about that, but I'm like, who watches Steven Seagal come up and be like, I was talking to my accountant the other day. After I was snapping bad guys' necks, I needed to max my retirement account. That's why I go with Dogecoin. Like, who watches Steven Seagal in his fake leather jacket with the like?
Did he
with
say
the
that in
leather
his
strips?
video that he bought Dogecoin in his IRA?
No, but he was pushing some sort of crypto. Kim Kardashian was too. And well, that also, you want to know whether your favorite celebrity respects you as the fan base? Look at what they're pumping. If they're pumping crypto, they don't respect you as the fan base.
Yeah, I
I'm not
don't
going to
know.
pump crypto.
I don't know what happens to these super rich people. Maybe it's something that we just can't predict. Like if we ever get wealthy, but it seems like once people get richer, they just seem to care less about their fans. But it's like you've already achieved wealth. Like why do you need to screw your fans to make an extra $20,000? Why if the richer you are, the more honest you should be. In my opinion, it's just kind of weird to me. I don't understand that dynamic.
I agree, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't make any money off YouTube, and if some crypto tried to like come to me and like we'll give you 20 grand to push this crypto, I would still tell them I'm not doing that.
Oh, absolutely not. Because like that, you'd be a sellout, and like
Yeah.
eventually, once you get big enough, you're gonna get approached by like penny stocks, crypto people, games. Games.
The only way I would pump a penny stock was if I just went on. I'd be like, hey man, these guys offered me a bunch of money, so they're doing it for other celebrities. So what you need to do is you need to ride this fucking wave. And then I would say, I didn't take any money from them. Also, I'm not buying any of this. But if you think you can make some money off of this is being pushed. That's the only way I would ever do a penny stock is they came to me, they said, hey, will you push this stock? I'd be like, no. And then I'm immediately going on my channel and saying, I was offered this. So you guys take your gambling money, buy that out and dump it by the end of the day.
Yeah,
That's the only way I would
you
do
don't
it.
have to have a lot of sponsorships. Like YouTube ads don't pay that bad for finance. You just have to generate the view volume, and you don't have to screw anybody over. You can still make good money on YouTube. But a lot of people, I think YouTube is their main source of income, especially like the losers like, Jeremy and whatever. And they kind of have to like pump or, basically take paid advertisers to really survive. So they don't care what they have, what they're going to pump. As long as they get paid, they're going to do it.
But can't you tell that they're shitty investors from that alone?
Most people have no idea, dude. Most people have no clue. Think about like
here's how you know. Here's how you know Jeremy is a terrible investor. He still needs the money.
Well, in his video, he said he doesn't need the money now. He made the video about him being a billionaire, where he's like walking around his Spartan house.
No, because I'm saying this, because if I was in his position, all my money would be in like total world stock market or whatever. And I'd be sitting there going, yeah, I don't need the money. So that's why I don't have to take any of these stupid ads from like Weeble or whatever.
Yeah, dude, once I get wealthy enough, like if I get financially independent, I'm gonna just be a freaking like whatever I believe, I'm just gonna go on and just say it. Like I'm gonna attack every single channel as viciously as I possibly can that I don't like. It's gonna be a freaking madhouse. But a lot of people like they always need more, or they're still dependent on that YouTube ad revenue. So they always keep pumping the same BS that everybody else is.
What were you gonna say about Patrick David?
Oh yeah, so he runs this like I didn't know this about him, but like so I knew he had a podcast, whatever. And
yeah, he runs a multi-level marketing company.
Yeah, I saw that on CoffeeZilla's video, and I was like, "Oh my god, is everybody on YouTube a freaking scammer? Like, why? Why are these people so popular? It doesn't make sense. You know, like, are people freaking stupid? I mean, I don't know what else to conclude.
They're not stupid. Here's the thing.
I think they are. Dude. I mean, I hate to be a dick, but
there's a lot of dumb people. But the problem is a lot of people don't have the mindset where they'll look at somebody and be like, okay, well, I'm going to go do my own research. So they'll just take that person for granted. And when you have a dude like Patrick Bet-David, he's a tall, good-looking guy, seems to have his shit together. He's in a suit. He speaks very confidently. And that's the thing is like people who are dumb or ignorant of something almost always sound the most confident, where you or I, when somebody asks us for a value of a stock, we just go, wow, look, man, there's a lot of variables in here that could happen that I have to bake in before I tell you, and I'm going to be overly cautious. But if somebody just comes in and they say it with confidence, oh yeah, Baba's $1,000 stock all day long. People are lazy, man, and they don't want to do the research. Because I was like, if somebody comes to my channel and they go, hey man, I'm seeing that this stock is only worth 300. I'm going to be curious as to how you got there. I'm not going to get mad.
I would be surprised if somebody thought Baba was only worth 300, but I get your point. But yeah, at the end of the day, these people on YouTube have no idea what they're doing. They're freaking morons. And there is going to come a day, and that's why we're playing the long game. We're going to be here 10, 15 years from now. A lot of these clowns at the next bear market, they're going to go away. They're going to be proven to be freaking morons. And then at that point, people are like, whoa, what happened? How do I actually invest? And then they'll find channels like us, Everything Money, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, yeah. And, you know, like when you look at like Meat Spin Kevin's portfolio, I mean, he's got zombie companies in there galore. And that's another thing that people don't understand is what a zombie company is. Not Planet 13. Tattooed Nutsack is basically a zombie company. The only reason they're surviving is they can get money on the cheap right now, whether it's issuing shares or taking on debt. But there's going to come a point where the interest rates rise and people are like, we're not loaning you money. Boom.
Yeah, if you think interest rates are going to rise and you're about to buy a company, you don't want to buy a company that has a lot of debt because they have to eventually refinance that debt. And what that means is they're going to be paying way more interest and they're probably going to lose money and potentially go out of business. So be very careful in your selections.
Yeah, no, I agree with Elemental. Yeah, I believe Bob is $1,000 stock. I just threw a number out there as an example. If somebody disagreed with me, and even if I thought it was low, I'd be curious as to your math behind that. And I'm not going to say, oh, you're stupid. Because ultimately, we've talked about it. Like when you do this, this is more art than science. Yeah, it comes down to math, but you're baking in assumptions. Like for my assumptions on Baba, I went between a 10 and a 25% growth rate or a 30% growth rate to be conservative.
Yeah, I think most people understand Baba fundamentally as a deal right now. The issue is all the temporary fears with China. So if you believe China fears are BS, Baba's 100% buy. If you believe the fears are legit, then okay, go ahead and sell it because it could go to zero. It's possible.
Well, it was the guys you had on your channel. They brought up legitimate points about like Baba being you own a holding company that owns Baba. The thing is when they say, what are the odds that China's just going to rip off the rest of the world with their cash cow Baba? Boy, I think that's pretty low odds because that would affect every other single Chinese company. And even though they claim they're communists, they're actually authoritarian capitalists.
Chinese aren't stupid, man. People think the Chinese government's stupid and they're just lashing out and they're going to destroy their businesses. I don't think they're stupid at all. I mean, honestly, they're probably smarter than us.
Well, it's very measured in their goals. And somebody was saying like, oh, well, Baba had to pay this money back. And I go, yeah, but that's because of a tax break they got when they were a small company. It's like they deferred their taxes up front to grow. And that's what that recent cash gift or whatever it was to the Chinese government was that was like a tax deferment thing.
Oh,
it wasn't.
It wasn't. No, go ahead. Sorry.
It wasn't China shaking them down. It was one of those things where when they were a small company, they said, we want you to grow. You don't have to pay us until you get this X size. They reached X size and the Chinese government came back and said, remember all those taxes you didn't have to pay? Well, they're due now.
Yeah, so for a historical perspective, stuff like this has actually happened in the United States too. And I just learned this, because I read books. I'm a genius. But the more you read, the more you understand. You put a lot of stuff in context. But, way back in the day, in the early 1900s, we had Teddy Roosevelt as our president. And he was a trust buster. And he basically just kind of started dictating, these trusts can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do this. And people freaked out because they didn't know what the government was going to do. They couldn't value stocks because they had no idea what the government would do to intervene. And stocks basically plummeted because Teddy Roosevelt was just basically coming out left and right with random crap, punishing, large, conglomerates and trusts in the United States. So stocks fell, but at the end of the day, are a lot of the companies still here? Is the stock market way higher than it was, after that temporary fear of the government coming and cracking down on large corporations? Absolutely. So if you put it in context, it's like, do you really think Baba is going to be dismantled? If it's not, it's 100% buy. 100%.
Yeah, dude. And well, it comes down to this too. I'm not a huge fan of government interference in the economy, but we have gotten to the point where people lobby the government for favors in the market. So at this point, since it is involved, I really do think that our government needs to step in with big tech in kind of this same way China did with Bob. Because we've gotten to the point now where companies like Facebook and Amazon think they're the kingmakers and they get to decide what we see.
Yeah, people think it's, just China's so authoritarian. Dude, the United States has done the same freaking crap. I mean, they can't be as extreme and as quick as China, but our government has definitely come and intervened with our large companies. So don't think this is just a Chinese thing that can't possibly happen here.
No, but I just think, the more China, I'm not a fan of authoritarianism, but China has legitimate points where they're talking about now social media is poison. Social media is poison.
Dude, the Chinese are so. I mean, I think they're smarter than us, man. There are some benefits to authoritarianism. Like, of course, you might not want to live under that if you're the targeted minority, but
I'm sure the Uyghurs
there are
would disagree with
benefits
that.
to it.
I'm sure the Uyghurs aren't sitting there going, man, it was always my dream to work in this Nike shoe factory for free.
Yeah, no, there's definitely like there's massive downsides, but like when it comes to like quick government action, yeah, that is an advantage of authoritarianism versus what we have in the United States.
Like, for the people that I feel the most for are teenage girls right now. Like, you know how insecure it's different than being a guy. And now they got all these filters and these like people just look perfect and they're comparing themselves to that on social media. I just am glad I grew up in a time when that wasn't pervasive.
Dude, yeah, I have one son, and I actually might be having another kid. Maybe. We'll see. But I hope I have all boys. And it's not because I hate girls. It's not because I hate girls. But I just don't want to deal with that freaking teenage girl BS. Oh my God, I'm depressed because my friend has a better filter than me and she's so popular. I can't deal with that crap. So I'm hoping for all boys.
Well, boys are definitely easier. Your two sons are arguing. You're like, hey, you two go wrestle outside. Solve that.
Oh, girls don't like you? Go to the freaking gym. Go do something,
Girls don't like you. Have you tried getting a skill?
Have you tried starting a YouTube channel?
But yeah, no, but I mean, China has legitimate points when they say like, hey, I don't agree that the government should come down and say this, but parents should be stepping in. Like, hey, you can't just play video games all weekend. You got to go outside and do stuff.
Well, you know what was funny is I bought 10-cent stock a while back because here's literally what happened. And this sent a massive company down 7%. The Chinese media released like one commercial or something where they said games are spiritual opium. Mm-hmm. And 10-cent stock went down 7%. I was like, are you kidding me? This is so stupid. I was like, you know what? I haven't really looked at the fundamentals. I kind of looked at them. I was like, I'm just going to put $1,000 in 10 cents because I know this is like a stupid gut reaction to some stupid article.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's the old saying, it's the stock market is a voting machine in the short term and it's a weighing machine in the long term. But it's like, yeah, I just need Jinping to like spread some of that stock doubt over in America. Like, I'm going to delist.
We can only hope that American stocks get annihilated. And I feel like a bad American for saying that, but I'm just so tainted and, pissed off by how stupid YouTubers are and how all these idiots are making money and that have no idea what they're doing. There needs to be a correction. Something needs to happen. Okay.
Well, dude, it's probably coming. So there's going to be some sort of correction when they start tapering. I don't know how much they can taper, though. I don't know how much governments around the world can taper at this point.
I mean, they can. There's so much freaking debt. It's like the only way they can taper is if the economy grows big enough where the debt becomes like a lesser percentage of GDP. But right now, if we have these massive debt loads that are bigger than our economy, I mean, what can you do? You have to keep interest rates low because otherwise the government can't afford to pay their debt. And then the economy goes to crap.
And it's every government around the world. China even has a massive problem with the real estate debt, which is that Evergrande. I mean, I'm not super up on it, but I have read in the past about China's massive real estate debt and how that could affect their economy.
Yeah, and like I think what happened, so basically the Chinese government, realized that all these companies were speculating massively and, being over leveraged with investing in real estate. And they kind of set a bunch of rules to slow that down. And those rules hurt Evergrande, which is why they're having financial troubles. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I always tell myself, is the world ending? If something happens in the market and it crashes, is the world ending or are people just freaking out? If people are just freaking out for something stupid, it doesn't matter. But The only time you should sell all your stocks is if the world is actually legitimately ending. I'm talking about like nuclear war or virus that kills 90% of people. But if that's not happening and you believe the world's going to get bigger over the next 20, 30, 40 years, who cares? It doesn't matter.
No, I agree. It's people acting irrational. But I don't know. Do you want to do some comments?
Yeah, let me go piss.
Yeah, me too. All right. What's going on, people? See if I can read some of these comments. Real estate. No.
Oh, we lost one viewer. Somebody doesn't have a good attention span.
Somebody
Jesus.
lacks patience.
Oh, no, we just lost another one. Monsters. All right, let's do comments. I just want to reiterate this again. Jeremy LaFufu doesn't do math, okay? He took one intro to accounting class. That's all he knows. Comments, Jay?
I like to put basic algebra in front of him.
I have more money than you. I'm better than you. I'm still in the process of learning to DCF. Cool. I mean, we're all learning. Even I'm learning. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a finance genius, and I was never trained in a lot of this crap, so I have to teach myself. So we're all learning, but at least you're trying to do legitimate investing. Okay.
Dude. I mean, all you need to do is pick your earnings per share, right? Use an Excel document. Pick your earnings per share. I would advise against using the most recent earnings per share because the market got distorted from all the cash inflows. And then just go out, whatever you want to go out, 7 to 10 years. And then all you do is whatever your discount rate is, you just divide your cash flow by that discount rate to the nth power, whatever that is.
And
so
also,
if it's
Sergio,
7 years, divide it to the 7th power. And your discount rate could be 1.1 for a 10% return or 1.2 for a 20% return. And your gram number, if you run that, is usually going to be around about a 20% return.
And you know what you could do is if you pay for everything money, you can like compare their assumptions in their software and the buy points to what you're doing. That's what I did when I made that little discounted cash flow, basically rip off of them. I was like, okay, do my numbers basically match theirs? Okay, I'm good. So I wouldn't rely on a model you make until you actually know it's like, somewhat legit.
Yeah, I did that too. Till now, it's like to the point where I can look at their numbers and I'm like, okay, we have a discrepancy because they use the most recent earnings per share and I used a 5-year average.
Yeah, honestly, it's better to have your own model because then you can tweak stuff. You can like change the revenue assumptions, like directly change that in your Excel document.
Well, yeah, the earnings per share I used on the most recent BABA estimations was 5.14 versus 2020's 10.18 and up till 2021 right now, 8.45. And I did that because I wanted to be as conservative as possible, and I just don't trust the numbers coming out of anywhere right now. This is too much cash slushing around.
Very, very odd time.
Yeah.
It's almost a time just to not do individual stocks at all, to be honest.
That's why I keep telling people I'm not buying anything right now. I just don't like the fact that there was so much money pushed into the system that now I'm having to do my own almost voodoo math to counteract all that free cash that went into the system. It's like,
what's going to cause a correction or a crash is when all these massive assumptions that are baked in because of this cash injection, once we get earnings over the next couple of quarters or whatever, there's going to be huge drops or huge like misses, and then there's going to be a huge freaking crash because all the assumptions are based on the most recent freaking revenue reports, like Jay was saying. And if that's the case, people are like way overvaluing a lot of stocks.
Well, that's my one criticism of the everything money software that I would tell them. Like if we were talking, if like you could change one thing about my software, what would it be? I'd be like, you need to make it so that I can put my own assumptions in on the earnings per share, whether that be a 5-year average or whether I can just put in my own numbers because they are going off. Like if I change my earnings per share to the most recent earnings per share, my discounted cash flow is almost exactly on everything money. The only difference is they've accounted for share dilution. But if I go in and I change my numbers to account for that, it's almost dead on. I'm within $10 usually.
Yeah, same. Like I'm $1 or $2 off. I don't know why. I guess it could be because like I said, maybe their share count is more accurate, but I'm in the realm. But one thing I would tell them to add would be Morningstar has a bunch of stuff where they show you revenue growth like year over year. So what everything money does is they average it out, which can be misleading. Whereas if you look over the last like 3 or 4 years, you get a much better feel for what the revenue growth might actually be going forward, because this last year has distorted a lot of crap. So if you average in this year, that was, had a massive spike in revenue for a lot of companies, you're going to get like really bad revenue assumptions.
That's why I run the numbers myself on my calculator.
Is that a TA81 calculator? What is that?
Mm-hmm.
Is it? You have to buy
rocking this bitch, man. They bought it for me with my Voc rehab, dude. I still use this thing.
Yeah, so for my school, I had this like crappy calculator. I don't know. It's a BA2. I had to buy this.
I have that too. That's a financial calculator. You can do cash flows and crap in there. I'd have to go back and remember how to do it because I haven't in that thing since college. But you can use that. You can use that to find out a stock's intrinsic value.
Yeah, this is what I use, guys, to calculate all the stocks that I buy. I mean, you can. It's true. It's very true. All right, so people are going to stop wearing masks. I'm going all in on Smile Direct Club.
You'll be a billionaire next year.
You're going to be a billionaire, bro. It's Jeremy LaFufu. Who's the third guy in the thumbnail that's never in the video. So we actually used to have him on. He'll come back eventually, hopefully. He's a young Canadian man. His name's Eric.
He has a channel called Investing Sucks. It's really good. And I don't know why our Canadian friend abandoned us, but maybe it's because he wants to just party because Canada's not in lockdown anymore.
It's because we're old, Jay.
Yeah.
You're like 55 and I'm 32. I mean, we're just boring old men,
Oh, right. I don't go out anymore.
Yeah. My Saturday night, I sit here drinking beer in my spare bedroom, talking about, scam YouTubers that are probably like 2-3 years younger than me.
Andre Jake's probably the same age as you.
So I think actually all of them are the same age. If I had started YouTube earlier, maybe I would have ended up on Millennial Money. Maybe I could have been there with them, Jay. What do you think about that?
I wouldn't want to be with them. I would want to be like, if I could go back and do it all over again, I'd have started in like 2006. And then when they reached out to me, I'd be like, yeah, no, you guys are scammers, and I'd call them scammers.
Yeah, and like those guys, like just thinking on a personal level, I wouldn't hang out with them. Like they're not my type of person. I'm like a chick with dating. I'm very selective in my friends. If you don't meet like most of my qualifications for dudes to be friends with,
Yeah.
then I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't have time for you. So,
Well,
especially Jeremy,
well,
especially Jeremy.
we come from different worlds than they do.
I come from a world of work, struggle.
Well, we were in the military, and yeah, there's fake ass people in the military, but I mean that shit gets rooted out in the. You weren't there, but in the barracks or the dorms, that stuff gets rooted out pretty
From
quick.
truck stop down to the docks, soap parties, barracks parties. Anyway, yeah. So the Canadian guy he'll come back. I believe in him. That's the guy in the thumbnail. Noggy, did you see Meet Kevin sold all his Peloton and said if you were following me in the stocks and psychology of money course scam group, you would have known I sold it after pumping it. He's such a piece of crap.
Dude, that's so low. It's so low, man. Like,
Yeah, just pay me $1,400, guys.
is
That's
that
all
how much? Is that how much his course is?
Let me verify. Okay, I don't want meat spin to sue me. A man of meager means, psychology of money. How much this idiot is charging? That's in psychology. Why do people fall for this freaking moron? Oh god, he's so gross. Where's the price, Kevin? It's like hidden in here somewhere.
Was someone called Jeremy gross and then said, I bought Meet Kevin's course and I learned a lot from it. And I'm like, yeah, there's nothing in there that you couldn't have learned from the Boglehead forum for free.
Oh, okay. So here it is. Lifetime access. I had to scroll down like 20 freaking pages. $762.
$762?
$762. Lifetime.
I
Lifetime.
could buy half of a Colt Python for that.
I would put that in my IRA. Hey, Shaw, man, how's the fam? We're good. We'll see how I am tomorrow after drinking beer because I'm going to get woken up probably like 5 times. Forward PE 7 years later. I don't know the context of that. What does your wife think when she hears you yelling for your vids? I don't know, but whenever if I ever make like a ton of YouTube ad revenue, I don't think she'll care. I'm just saying,
Dude, if the money starts,
can we go out to eat at a steakhouse now?
well, dude, another thing, right? So with Jeremy talking about how he doesn't make enough on YouTube, I went and ran the numbers based upon what you said. You're like, I make $5 to $10 a day. I go, okay. Well, let's say he's got 700 times the amount of followers that you do. So I go, let's multiply that times 700. I came up with $105,000 a month.
Yay, that's not enough. Okay, he needs to be a billionaire. He's got to be a billionaire, dude.
If I made that for 3 years, I'd just be sitting there like, I don't know if I'm doing this anymore. When people are like, why? I'd be like, I got a trust fund set up now that pays me 6 figures to sit around and do nothing. I don't know if I want to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I actually enjoy making YouTube videos.
So do I.
And it'd be nice, like, if you don't have to worry about work and you could just focus on the YouTube videos. Because, like, I have to tutor, I got to work, I got to do army crap. I wish I could focus on these.
I would do 2 discounted cash flows a day and probably a rant video every day.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get there. You just got to stay in for the long run, man.
Oh, I'm amazed that I have like 370 followers.
I know.
I didn't even think that was possible.
It takes so freaking long to grow on YouTube, unless you're just like a scumbag. Like, sometimes I'm just like, how did this channel grow to 100,000 subscribers in a year? The guy's a loser. He's dumb. I'm talking about George. What's his freaking name?
Oh, Perez.
George Perez. I'm like, this guy is stupid looking. He's dumb as hell. He pumps the dumbest stocks. Oh my god! Like that's literally what he does in his videos. Like he's a spaz, and it's like, dude, how do you have all these subscribers? And you're
especially since he was blowing Workhorse, and Workhorse is.
All right,
they didn't
guys,
get the content.
Go watch my George. If you haven't seen my George Perez video, my most recent one, go watch it. It's got him with a clown hair on. He made the worst calls, and yet somehow he has a massive YouTube channel. I don't get it, Jay. I don't get it.
You can't think logically about it. You just have to wait. You just have to wait till there's a market correction, and they're like, oh, when Apple was $149 a share, this guy was telling me it was like a $40 share. Like, yeah, that's because these things matter. Fundamentals matter.
Well, Jay, at the end of the day, even if we don't succeed on YouTube, it's okay. We actually have real jobs, you know? So it's like whatever. Wasn't tattooed nutsack just the pump and dump? Well, that remains.
Too many people are holding it.
That remains to be seen. I honestly think Jeremy's new approach now is to buy heavily shorted stocks in the hopes that Wall Street Bets picks them up. And then
I agree with you.
Yeah, and then when they skyrocket, he can claim, "Oh, I knew this was going to happen." That's what he's trying to do. I don't know if he actually believes in any of these companies.
I think he's dumb enough to believe that he thinks he knows what he's doing.
I mean, you could be right. I mean, he definitely, I don't know. I think with
his reactions were pretty sincere in that reaction to everything money when he was getting like upset, which shows me a person that's not confident in their position, but he was getting upset that they didn't like Tattooed Chef. And it's like, okay, that's actually a legitimate reaction that he has, because somewhere in there, whether he thinks it's a good stock or not, he thinks these guys have a shot at tanking the company.
Oh,
that's why
they totally do have a shot at tanking it.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could destroy Tattooed Chef. I wish I could buy that company and liquidate it just to annihilate Jeremy LaFufu. I would pay any price. Any price.
Dude, I like this comment. But yeah, I mean,
all right, let's read the comments. So I effing hate Jeremy's arrogance on that billionaire video. He really thinks he's a genius investor after only 5 to 6 years and during the greatest bull market of all time. Yes, that is a good comment.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, what do you want? He really does believe that I've heard him in other videos being like, I'll get 25% a year when I'm in my prime phase. And I'm like, what does that even mean, dude?
Dude, the U.S. economy is probably going to grow at like 2 to 3% going forward, okay? You know, we're not going to expand like we did in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. Our population's growth is definitely slowing down. We're a developed nation. We're not going to grow like our freaking stock market has been doing going into the future. So to believe that you're going to have returns, you know, that basically blow the freaking U.S. growth out of the water is insane. It's freaking insane.
You're looking at this. This is the best way to look at it. And Jack Bogle talks about it. Sven Carlin brought it up too. You're looking at 2 to 3% for inflation, 2 to 3% for your dividend, and then about another 2% in growth. And that's what you get with this mature economy that we have. And if you think about it, it makes sense. You said we're going to grow at about 2%, 2 to 3% a year. Okay, cool. Then you got the inflation. Then you got the dividend. And right now the dividend is 1.5 to 2%. Historically, it should be about 4%. Right there, if it goes to the 4%, there's your 8 to 10% that the stock market returns. But right now, expect 5.5 to 6.5. And that's what you're going to get.
I mean, like, look at the world's population, and you'll see how fast it grew over the last, like, century. That's why we had such freaking crazy stock returns. But if you see now, like birth rates are going down below like the replacement level, especially in developed countries. Like a lot of these companies and countries are not going to grow as fast as you are thinking they are.
Even Africa is slowing down. India is slowing down.
Yeah, so Africa is like the one place where we're having massive growth. But yeah, it'll slow down and it'll peak and it'll basically.
It's already starting to.
Yeah,
it's already starting to slow down. It's not what it was back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s now. Even they have more kids than we do in the for lack of a better term, developed world. But everywhere it's going to eventually slow down to what you're really getting is what I just described out of the entire world economy. You're getting the dividend plus inflation plus that little bit of growth. And
that's why, like, I emphasize, don't worry about return, worry about your savings rate. If you're maxing your 401k and your IRA every freaking year, that's $19,500 plus $6,000. So what? $25,000 a year. Even if the returns are garbage, you're gonna be fine when you're 60. Okay, $25,000 a year plus growth, you're gonna be fine. But if you're trying to like play this stupid game where you just invest in a bunch of stupid stocks, if you get garbage returns and you're wrong and you're focused on return and not savings rate, you're going to be hurting really bad.
Well, think about how much better off you would be too, though. If you said 5% of your portfolio is for speculation, and I'm going to really do my due diligence. And I think it is entirely possible to get a 15 to 20% return if you're investing like that, very sparingly, maxing your tax advantaged accounts, and then you just wait for the market to become completely irrational, and then you buy quality companies. That bumps you up to an 11 or 12% return over the course of your life. That's enormous. You're doing fine.
Like, honestly, like, you don't have to believe me, anybody, but I think Baba is one of those companies where if you put 5, 2, 3, 4% in there, it's going to give you excess returns. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying.
I think when I did my calculations on here, I looked at it and I'm like, I'm getting from this point a 17 or 18% return.
Yeah, I'm honestly thinking, like, if it dips even more, I might put in like a decent chunk of change.
Dude, if it drops to like $100, I'm
thinking about it, man. I don't know, $5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand. I'm really considering it. Maybe when I'm sober, I'll be like, oh, all right, that's stupid.
Yeah, just don't invest when you're drunk. I did that a couple of times, and it just never works out really that well.
Don't invest when you're drinking, ladies and gentlemen, okay? All right, let's just more comments. Strong man, react to stupid stunk gurus. Oh, all day, every day, man. Just keep watching my videos. I need to circle around back to stock mode. That freaking idiot, stupid moron. I used to be a financial advisor. I used to be a financial advisor too, ladies and gentlemen. It's a scam. It's a scam.
Well, when somebody's like, I used to be a financial analyst, I'm like, okay, financial analysts are wrong all the time.
You know what pisses me off? Stock Curry. Have you watched that freaking dweeb?
Yeah, Stock Curry hair.
Dude, he's an idiot. He used to be like some kind of analyst, and he literally goes and looks at Chris Sain's recommendations and talks about them on his YouTube channel. It's like, dude, if you used to be a financial analyst, you should know what you're doing, or at least, kind of know what you're doing. Why would you be quoting Chris Sain?
Stock Curry, like
Stock
the food?
Curry. You'll see. You'll see why I don't like him.
Dude, yeah, Chris Sain.
He's very soy. I'll put that out there.
Dude, Chris Sain is like, you're right though. That's the biggest mystery. At least
I told you why he's a big channel, Jay. I told you.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But at least LaBeefy gets in there and gives you a reason why he thinks the stock is going to grow. Chris Sain's just like random number.
What's up, YouTube? What's up?
And then he goes, Well, this is a buy under 150. And I'm like, okay, but why? It still has a price to earnings ratio in the 30s at that.
What's up, YouTube?
He's a freaking he is the one guy that like you were saying, it just blows my mind. How is this freaking clueless idiot have almost 500,000 subscribers? What is wrong with this world? I'm just sickened, Jay. I'm sickened.
I could see Microsoft at 4 trillion max, but 7 trillion is pretty steep. Bro, and even keep this in mind, Microsoft's price to earnings ratio right now is at about a 35 or something. And so it's like a 2 point something trillion dollar company. That's not a growth company. It shouldn't have a price to earnings ratio of 35.
Yeah, but they had a massive spike after our government printed a bunch of money. I mean, how do you explain that, Jay? I think you're wrong.
But yeah, 7 trillion is just ridiculous.
Oh, God, I can't explain how bitter I am about this market. I mean, and the funny thing is, I own Microsoft, but I would love it to crash, and in my index funds, not individually. All right, so yeah, there's no common sense in this bull run. Yep, but here's the thing, guys. Here's where you just need to listen to me. Just max your tax advantage accounts and just buy the world, because markets can be irrational for a very, very, very long time. And when you buy the world, you're buying international, you're buying U.S. growth, which has been killing it. You're buying U.S. value. You're buying everything, and you're going to be fine. Okay, even if growth like goes forever into infinity, if you own the world, you own growth. Okay, so don't try to freaking time the market, please. Tesla will be an adult entertainment company by 2030. I can see that. With Elon Musk, guy's a freaking idiot.
He produces golden Elon Musk dildos. Meet Kevin still pushing the stock.
Yeah, it's like down to like $10.
He's like, by 2040, they'll sell 1 trillion Elon Musk dildos.
Well, he's got to pump it to recuperate his 95% loss. What about lithium? What do you think about lithium, Jay?
Well, it's the batteries for all these EVs, but I think this EV craze is actually going to die off once people realize the environmental damage. You don't get anything for free. The EVs are still causing environmental damage. Whether it's greater or less than internal combustion engines, I don't know. But people keep acting like it's a free lunch. And I'm like, there you go. Well, we got to mine lithium now for the batteries.
Here's my opinion on this. Show me an electric car that is like $20,000. Once that happens, then I'll believe in electric cars. But until then, how much these cars freaking cost? $40,000, $50,000. No, these cars are not going to be, around forever. Or if they do, they're going to be for luxury vehicles for rich people. So
I think eventually they'll take over once you get graphene storage batteries, but that's still far off, or something comparable to that where it can just jam in so much more energy per square inch. But the modern
how long is that going to take? Like I said, show me the car that's 20
years
that the average person would buy. And until then, I don't believe in it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. The thing is, it also comes down to, all right, well, it gives off less pollutants, but it doesn't, because you have to burn coal for the electricity, because all the hippies out there don't want nuclear power for some reason.
It's all so stupid, man. I think it's a craze. I think eventually you just got to be patient. A lot of this EV BS is going to be old news, and some new exciting thing is going to be the center of attention. And once that happens, EV BS is whatever.
Genomics is next.
Genomics. Should I buy Arca G?
Yeah. If you want to be down at the truck stop.
I'll I want to be down at the docks, Jay.
What's that?
SLV. Is that silver? SLV. Silver is a commodity, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it's a shiny rock. Yeah, it's iShares Silver Trust. I agree with Warren Buffett, man. I don't buy silver. I don't buy commodities.
I mean, if you if you understand like whatever industry, you can make a lot of money. Like if you understand certain things about the oil industry, you'll make a lot of money.
Dude,
I don't buy silver.
Think about it, guys. It's a shiny rock. That's it. I mean, would you rather own like a company or would you rather own a shiny rock?
Yeah, and I agree with you on that, but also silver and gold do have utility.
That's they have utility. I'm not saying they're worthless, but I mean, if I have to choose between owning a cash generating company that provides value to people or a shiny rock, I mean, I'm going to choose the company.
Well, I would throw the shiny rock at Jeremy's face and then steal his tattooed chef stock and sell it.
Tattooed chef. I mean, imagine staking your future on tattooed chef. Like, why would you do that? It's just crazy. Okay.
Well, this guy has Baba to zero, and I'm like, you know how much that'll affect my retirement? It won't.
He'll be down at the truck stop. He has all his money in Baba. Would that be funny if like you had like one of us was like all in Baba, and that's why we were talking about it so much? People who say they want to be a billionaire remind me of my friends in high school, so they wanted to be a CEO. Anybody can be a CEO. Okay, I'm a CEO of Strongman Personal Finance. Wow. Doesn't mean crap.
Mark Zuckerberg is the CEO of Facebook, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't really know anything.
Let's see. Baseball cards are alternative investments. That doesn't mean they are sound investments.
I mean, to some people, I guess you could consider them an investment like you do with shoes. But then again, this is something Microsoft has an intrinsic value, no matter who you're talking to, unless they're stupid, because it produces cash flows. Baseball cards, shoes, they don't produce cash flows. So to me, they have no intrinsic value. So that's like the difference.
But if I sell the baseball card, that's a cash flow.
Huh?
If I sell the baseball card, that's a cash flow.
Yeah, that's a greater fool theory. If Microsoft sits in my portfolio, it just keeps paying me dividends and it keeps going up over time.
But Jay, there's like hedge fund manipulation. Why would I buy stocks? I mean, AMC is manipulated. Why would I buy Microsoft? It doesn't make sense.
Because private equity has moved into baseball cards now.
Oh.
David talked about how private equity moved in. And I was like, oh, this guy doesn't understand that he's actually getting screwed by these people because they're creating an artificial demand for them.
I wish people could understand my hatred for like almost every person involved in the finance industry. It's all one massive freaking scam. And I'm not just saying that. I really believe it. I freaking hate financial advisors. I hate like hedge funds. I hate, any kind of mutual fund that's actively managed. I hate them all because they're just grifting. That's all they're doing.
I don't hate hedge funds because mostly they just grift off of rich people.
Hedge funds are like the worst because like they are degenerate gamblers. Like they're hedge funds. If you put your money in a hedge fund, they're going to be doing some crazy, stupid gambling crap.
But that mostly affects rich people. I hate who can afford to lose money. I hate the people in the financial service industry that become friends with people. And then it's like, oh, but I'm ripping you off because I'm taking 1% of your portfolio per year. Huge. For what? For what? Like, this is what like I would say to we talked about it, my mom's money guy. If I was talking to him, I'd be like, you can't beat simple index funds, so why should I pay you anything?
Yeah, but bro, I'm here for you. If you're nervous, you have questions about the market. You know what I'm saying? Scumbags. if y'all have family that have a financial advisor, look, the financial advisor needs to go.
This is. There
Jay,
you go.
you
If you read that, or you read Chris's book.
You have to read my book. Stop there. I actually do have a chapter in here on financial advisors. Okay. See, Jeremy wants to be a billionaire. I just want you to buy my $3 ebook or $9 hardback. Or is this a hardback or a paperback? Whatever.
That's a paperback, bro.
Paperback. But see, here's the thing, guys. Every time I sell a book, I make about $1.50, $2. And that's my master plan to grift off the United States. It's grow my YouTube channel. And
how many books have you sold at this point?
Probably I would say about 40 or 50.
That's pretty good though, dude. I mean, considering
I made $100, Jay. I made $100.
Yeah, but
over like 6 months.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, look, you don't have a big name in the world. So it's like, it's impressive even if somebody just comes across it and they're like, oh, stop being a broke loser. I'll read this book.
No, I'm actually like proud. It's like, okay, most people, they write a book and nobody reads it. It's like, okay, wow, 50 people bought my book. That's incredible, And it's all about just advertising it, go on your YouTube, advertise it. And I like it. I think it actually does provide value, but I think what I need to do is charge like $100 for my book.
I told you I thought it was a good book because it's written like it's written at a level that isn't going to turn you off. It's dry material. So for a person who's not into finance or accounting, if it's dry material, you want it written at a 6th grade level. It makes it easy to digest. So the person's not going to quit reading the book. But if you had jumped that book up to like a 10th or 11th grade reading level, I think you would turn off a lot of lay people.
Well, but that doesn't matter, Jay. As long as you sell the book to them, that's all that matters. You charge $100 per book, because like on Amazon, it's like I think there's a certain cost.
Jeremy wrote a book, and it's $99.
Yeah, it's $100, right? Dude. It's $100. He probably makes like $80 per sale.
I want it, dude. I so want to get that book on the secondhand market just so I can read it and then do a video about how everything in it is stupid.
Actually, dude, yeah, that would almost be worth paying the $100 just to see like what is in that stupid freaking book.
Yeah, but I could buy ammo with that $100.
Yeah, but what if your YouTube got like 50,000 subscribers?
Well, that is nothing. Then I would buy it and just read chapters on the air so nobody ever had to buy it again.
What'd be funny is if he actually like preached good stuff back in the day, and then he changed his tune to make more money.
No, I don't think he's learned it all, or he would have said when Everything Money did a discounted cash flow, he would have actually understood what that was.
Well, if you go watch his really old videos, because you can actually sort on YouTube and sort by like oldest video, you can see he covered like basic personal finance topics and, like what is gross profit or whatever. And then eventually, once he realized where the money is, that's where he transitioned into, the next 10x stock.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, he was always a scumbag. So,
yeah, I mean, deep down, he's a scumbag. Okay. He's a scumbag. We have 23 people watching right now. See, Jeremy gets like, how many viewers does he get? He makes a video, he gets like 40,000, 50,000 views.
I wish we could just hack into the Millennial Money feed. And there's nothing they could do about it, and they couldn't kick us off. So, like, every time they bring up something, we could just be like, yeah, that's not true. Let me tell you why you're stupid.
Dude, I really believe one day we're going to be big enough to take those guys down. I really believe it. That's what motivates me. Like, I can't stop. I want to annihilate me, Kevin, and Jeremy LaFufu.
When his guy was like, and it links to a strongman who's had a lot of not nice things to say about Jeremy. I'm like, did you even watch any of my videos? Because I'm way worse than he is. Like, I did an entire video where for an hour I called Jeremy a straight moron at every turn.
Jay, we're losing, man. Jeremy's winning. We're losing. My friend is
All
still
right.
buying Doge, I think. I need to call him ASAP. You know what? If your friend's buying Doge, just let him go. Just let him go.
Just let them. If you tell them and they want to argue with you, just let them lose money. That's where I've gone to with John. John doesn't want to listen to me. Okay. Well, you said to buy BABA. Yeah, because I'm looking at long term. Well, Mara's up
Hey, the stock
3,000.
went down. Why would you buy it? That doesn't make sense. You need to buy stocks that went up, like Tesla, dude. 1,000% up. You should buy it. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Oh, God. I met PBD when my sister worked for PHP. What is PHP? He reminds me of a used car salesman. Yeah, dude. All these freaking scammers are just total scumbags.
So your sister worked for his MLM. Yeah, but I mean that's kind of what you have to be as far like he kind of reminds me of that when I'm watching him on Rogan, where I'm like, okay, this guy talks a bold game, but if I was on there with him, I would outlast him long enough to where I would get him to the point where we were staring at each other when I'm like, again, I'm coming back to it. Your baseball card doesn't produce cash flow. It's not an investment. And he would come with some more BS, and I'd be like, again, back to it. Does it? And it would end up being a staring contest.
You don't have hair, so you're stupid.
Yeah. It's pretty much where
I have
get
more
to.
money than you, so you're dumb.
Yeah.
That's how it works in debates like that. These scammy pump and dumps are the only time I would consider using a stop loss. You don't need stop losses, bro. Like, what are you trading? Still seems really hard to ride the wave. Dude.
Well, I mean, depending, as long as it's just gambling money you're using, you can watch these YouTubers. And when they start pumping something, if you go, okay, I'm going in, I'm going to make 20% and I'm out, you'll probably do quite well.
Honestly, guys, I mean, like,
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not maxing your tax advantage accounts, just freaking max them, okay? And then after that, okay, sure, do whatever you want. Buy whatever stupid crypto you want. Buy whatever stupid stock you want. Go right ahead. But before you do that, max your tax advantage accounts. Is this hard, ladies and gentlemen? When will BABA hit bottom? 130? I have no idea. Could be 50, could be 40, could be 30. I have no idea. No clue.
Yeah, it could be 100.
You have to realize in stocks, people can be irrational. So you really cannot predict what price a stock is going to be at. If people are scared it's going to go to zero, that stock could go to $5, $2. I mean, you don't know.
Well,
It could be
you have to look at it like this. Is it irrational? You just look at it like this. Think about how irrational Tesla is at the top. Things can get equally irrational on the bottom.
I am fully prepared for to have negative 60%, 70%, 80% for the stocks that I bought. But if you understand you bought a great business and you think the fears are temporary, the second those fears evaporate, that stock will go back to its fundamental value. And if it doesn't, then you've already maxed your tax advantage accounts, so it doesn't matter. I like BABA at 145. I want to see it if it'll go lower. I mean, you can put a little bit in there, you know? It's like whatever, you know, I put $500 in at 145.
Did you? I was thinking about buying 2 more shares.
Yeah, I'm at 52 shares now. I
don't even think I've hit 30, bro.
I violated my rule, Jay.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm going to stop at 50. I can't stop. I can't stop, dude.
You have to stop at a certain point.
Jay, you need to call a counselor, okay? I'm going to get super drunk tonight. I'm going to set a market order for 20,000 shares. Bob is probably at the bottom right now, assuming the numbers are legit. At this point, the biggest risk is fraud. Hey, man, you don't know. You can't predict stocks. You can't. In the short term, you can't predict them. This stock could go to freaking $5. You don't freaking know.
I'd be dumping paychecks into it if it went to $5.
Dude, imagine if we had China and the U.S. got really heated, and presidents were shitting on each other, and they were just like, oh, we're gonna delist, and I mean, yeah, the stock could go down like crazy.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Dude, if I had Charles Xavier's power, his mental power, I would have like, just to make it go even more irrational, I would have like President Xi and Jack Ma on stage, and I would have them both just take a dump on the stage and start flinging feces at each other, so that the entire world went, what the hell is going on? And then I would swoop in to buy BABA stock at like $6.
Dude, BABA would tank if that happened.
He just like, Xi's talking, and he just takes a dump in his hand, and he just like whips it across and it smacks Xi in the face. So Xi takes an equal sized dump in his hand and flings it back at Jack Ma. I'd be like, dude, I'd be tanking all sorts of companies.
Is that your investing philosophy? You want to pay off the Chinese leaders to throw poop at each other?
No, I would use my mental Charles Xavier power to force them to do it.
Dude,
like,
how do you think BABA would go if the president of China and the CEO of Alibaba, or former CEO, I don't know what he's doing now, if they started throwing poop at each other on a stage?
Dude, I think there's a definite possibility of BABA at $20.
Dude, I would probably put my entire life savings in BABA at that point.
Because I want to buy Microsoft, I would have Bill Gates just come out and be like, fine, I confess, I was banging underage girls on the island with Epstein.
I could see Bill Gates doing that. Totally.
He thought Epstein could get him a Nobel Peace Prize, so he was palling around with him. And look, I'm just saying, if you're palling around with Epstein, like, there's no way that I believe that Bill Clinton wasn't on Pedo Island slinging some wiener to some underage girls.
Yeah. Bill Clinton's a very special character. Very special.
Oh, dude, look at Bill Gates, right? That dude is not prepared to have attractive panties thrown at him, right? So he gets around Epstein, and he's like, wait, what's going on here? All these young, attractive girls? I never got young, attractive girls when I was young.
Yeah, Bill Gates is not a slayer, so you give him some entertainment, he'll do whatever he needs to do.
So what I'm saying is, like, if I had Charles Xavier's power, I'd use him to tank Microsoft stock. We'd all be rich, because I'd just be like, I'd start a private chat group for $1. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to tank this stock. Like, what are you going to do?
We need to start a penny stock group, okay? We need to find like a really low market cap, low share count penny stock, and then just pump it up.
No, dude, what I'm going to do is use my Charles Xavier power, and I'll have the CEO of Apple down on the Mexican-American border riding a horse into Haitian migrants, and that ought to tank it. Tim Cook just single-handedly tanked Apple stock. Why he was down there, nobody knows.
Oh, I can't wait until one of these companies like crashes. All in.
Well, Apple, they might be losing 30% of their revenue. With the recent ruling on the App Store,
30%
is what I heard. I haven't really looked into it that much, so I could be talking out my butt right now. But from what I've heard through the grapevine, that's 30% less they're going to make on those apps. So I don't know what that is to their bottom line, but it's probably enormous. It's probably in the billions.
Jesus. I mean, would you be surprised, though, if a lot of these high-flying stocks corrected?
Well, Apple's massively... Again, Apple's massively overvalued.
You don't understand, bro. It's growth. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Might sell puts on BABA at 140 this week. Okay, guys, listen up. Do you have $14,000 of cash on the sidelines? If you sell a put, that's 100 shares you are obligated to buy if somebody exercises that put, okay? if you don't have $14,000 of cash and you're selling puts on BABA at 140, I don't know what happens to you. I don't know what freaking happens to you.
Even if I had a lot of money, I still wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I thought about selling BABA puts. I thought about it, and I was like, well, there is the chance that stock could go down to like $10. And if somebody makes me buy that stock for $14,000, I mean, that's too much risk for me. So I was like, I'm not buying BABA put. I'm not selling BABA puts.
I mean, you could do it with a number you thought was completely unrealistic. Like if you said its Ben Graham number is 80. If you said I'll sell puts at 80.
Well, if you do that, then you're not going to get like anything for selling the puts. You might as well not sell it.
Yeah, I just, me personally, even if I had a lot of money, I just prefer to be able to look at it and, okay, I'd rather have that $14,000 sitting there, and I'd rather put 5,000 of it in BABA at 140 and wait to see if I can get it at 135.
It's always better to just buy the freaking stock, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I got to piss. I'll be right back.
Jesus Christ, dude. Weak bladder. Chris has got a weak bladder.
If you know me very well, all my friends know I have a very weak bladder. Very weak bladder.
Somebody. Singularity 2045. What do you guys think of Elon Musk getting divorced again? Was he even married to that chick, though? Because I thought it was just his girlfriend. And, of course, they were bound to split up. Elon Musk is completely eclectic, and he works like 100-hour weeks. There's no way he even like, what does he do? He comes home from work, looks at her, and then just passes out. Elon Musk is a cuck. Maybe. He might be a cuck. I don't know that for a fact. Keeps getting rug pulled by his wives. Tencent is even listed, and you can still buy it. BABA delisted doesn't matter. Yeah, I kind of agree, but I don't think it's going to get delisted. But it has attention. Has all the attention. But Baidu, Tencent, Music, JD. Chris, you bought JD stock, right?
No, I'm actually waiting till it dips. Between 62 and 65 is when I would buy into JD. So I actually missed my opportunity. But if it ever dips down, which it could possibly do because of all the fears, yes, I'm going to buy probably $1,000, maybe $1,500 into JD.
All right, let's look at some more comments.
Oh, here's a good one.
No, I read that one already.
All right, let's see. There's so many freaking comments. Oh my God, I'm like lost now. Holy crap, dude. Look, guys, like it'll get to a point where you guys are gonna have to do like a super chat to freaking have your comment read. Because like if there's like 1,000 people watching this, I don't know how I would possibly.
Yeah, if it was even 100 people, it would be unmanageable.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy. Strong man, try getting everything money. Hit them up on Instagram. I don't know, man. I'm not big enough.
I think the best strategy for getting on any of these places is to just let them come to you.
Yeah. You don't want to freaking.
You sound desperate
once, but if they blow you off, it's like, okay, whatever.
Well, my thing is, we know the one guys, right? What was the name of them that you did the
Capital Mindset?
Huh?
Capital Mindset?
Yeah, so we're better off since we're probably about the same size in this general vicinity of like just teaming up with them when we can, or with Eric, and then just having our own group of peers that are around this level. And as we grow, somebody gets on Everything Money, they can be like, well, also these are my main running mates. You guys might want to have them on.
And the thing with Everything Money is they're trying to sell that you should buy a bunch of individual stocks. I mean, like they say, oh yeah, you should have index funds, and they do say that to their credit. But at the same time, their software is there to have you buy a bunch of individual stocks. So it would be kind of weird to have somebody like me on there where I'm like, you should have 95% of your money in index.
Well, they've said that before. I know that.
They'll say it a couple times, but like if you think about like why would you pay $26 a month if you were an index investor? I mean, honestly,
I agree.
You wouldn't, you know? I mean, so if you have a guy like, I mean, like if I went on their show, of course I would be, you know, respectful, but I mean,
well,
I'm not really there.
I would be respectful too, but I would also voice my opinion that I think that I don't care and Paul would probably agree with both of us if we said, I think that the average person should have 90 to 95% of their money in index funds. And then I said, and it only makes sense because the average person doesn't have more than $19,500 a year to invest.
Yeah, I mean, and like so, honestly, nobody does. Who has $19,500 plus $6,000 for your IRA, plus another $6,000 if you're married? Who has that to invest? Honestly, nobody. Freaking nobody.
No, you're right. And I mean, so it's like, okay, here, if you're buying your 401k through your work allows you to buy individual stocks. Okay, maybe. But then again, I go back to if you work 40 hours a week, how much time, and this isn't really your forte, because most people don't. I enjoy looking at a company and trying to predict the future. That's why I like doing it. That's the only reason, because to me, it's a puzzle. And I like puzzles. But if you're an average person with a kid, a wife, and a normal job, and the weekend comes down to, well, we got Johnny's soccer practice. We got this. We got that. Well, I don't have enough time to do discounted cash flows and look at the financials.
Honestly, nobody does unless it's your full-time job. I mean, yeah. Even I'm a YouTuber that talks about finance. I have other things going on. So when I do a discounted cash flow, like I browse the 10K, then I go to the financial statements and I do a very, cursory analysis of it. And that's really all I have time to do. That's all the average person has at max. So if you're going to do that, you might as well just buy a freaking index. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and that's why I agree with what you're saying. I think that's why we got along in the beginning, because we were both like, I don't know what these people are talking about. Index funds are the easy. You changed my mind on the total world stock market versus the total U.S. market. But
I mean, like, don't you sleep well knowing that you own the world? It's just like, whatever. If the U.S. crashes, I don't care. I own the freaking world. It's like, okay, wow. Doesn't matter. Doesn't freaking matter.
Well, yeah, no, I agree with that. And it's like I said, I look at a stock in multiple different ways, from gram number to book value per share, a percentage of free cash flow, discounted cash flows. I'm just going to put it out there because I don't care. I don't inspire a whole lot of confidence in myself that I could average 15% per year on my stock picks to justify going outside of a tax advantaged account.
You can't outperform the market by 5%.
And the margin, if I could consistently outperform the market by 5%, I would not be sitting here. I would be sitting in an office on Wall Street.
Dude, you would be like a billionaire in like before you knew it. If you could actually do 15%.
If you could average 15% per year and you could do it with other people's money, you would be one of the most sought after money. You'd be on Warren Buffett's level.
Yeah, but then why haven't Kevin and Meat Spin is Kevin. Jeremy LaFufu, like why haven't those guys, been
eventually Wall Street's just going to wake up to the fact that a half retarded guy that took one semester of community college accounting is somehow destroying the market. Or
he
they
is.
just look
No, it's
at him
like,
and they're like, this dude's retarded.
okay, guys, go look at all his videos. Go look at GoPro. Go look at Nordic American tankers. Why aren't those in his public portfolio? I mean, he seems to only show his wins,
Also,
but not his losses.
go ahead and pay attention to his economy of words.
Oh,
He
right,
doesn't,
right.
he doesn't come across to me as intelligent when he speaks. You know, there's
He's a gas station manager.
Yeah,
And there's
no,
nothing against
I
gas
agree.
station managers, but I'm not going to listen to a gas station manager about how to build my wealth. I'm sorry.
Well, I've met people that don't have a high formal education and they speak in a lot of guttural and slang, and I can tell they're intelligent. When I listen to Jeremy's, like meet Kevin. When I listen to him speak, I'm like, oh, okay, I know what this guy is. This guy is just intelligent enough. He is actually intelligent that he can memorize a bunch of stuff and go to a party and sound smart around people that actually don't know what's going on. So he could go into a cocktail party, regale them with his tales of excellence in the investing world, throw out some common vocabulary, and he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. Andre Geek does the same thing. Jeremy doesn't. If I met Jeremy in real life,
Andre's strength is literally just card tricks and editing. Like he's not. You can tell he doesn't.
He memorizes just enough that to somebody who has no idea what's going on, he sounds knowledgeable. Jeremy doesn't. He doesn't have any of that from either one. Like I guarantee you, if the two of us just met Jeremy at a cocktail party, we would both look at him and be like, this dude's a moron. Whereas we would probably look at meet Kevin and go, okay, dude, here's what I think. I think you play at investing. I think you memorized a few terms here and there. I think
honestly,
you
man, like
trying to sound smart.
For all the YouTubers I've watched, and like when it comes to like how I judge people, I just kind of know when I meet somebody whether I'm going to like them or not. And there's something about me, Kevin, that just immediately told me this guy's full of crap. This guy's a scumbag and a liar. Now,
I agree.
Jeremy, like, yeah, I know he's a scumbag, but me, Kevin, was worse than Jeremy.
Because he's more intelligent than Jeremy. He's more intelligent than Jeremy. Listen to him talk.
I would say he's smarter than Jeremy. I would agree with that.
I don't think either one of them are particularly bright, or they would have figured out things at this point. But it's exactly what I go back to. Meet Kevin is just smart enough that he can go into a bar, like he did on Patrick Bet David's show, where he starts talking and he sounds smart at first, but when you start actually asking him questions, his logic falls apart. Most people don't do that. They go, oh, this guy's sharp. He knows what he's talking about. Everybody who listens to Jeremy in the first 5 minutes, the only people that listen to him after 5 minutes of talking are people that ride the short bus.
I mean, and that's the people that will pay you thousands of dollars. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. It just really pisses me off. Like, I've been investing in index funds for 10 years. I've done extremely well. It's not hard. And then I go on YouTube and these freaking morons are,
I was reading a comment here. Meet Kevin destroyed Jeremy in the TTCF debate. Yeah, and which I knew he would. Like, if I had to bet on those two going head to head in a debate, I would bet on Meet Kevin every time.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, guys, Tattooed Chef could potentially be something. Could be huge. You don't know. I mean, you can't say with 100% certainty that it's not. But is it likely? No. And if it's not likely, why would you gamble a huge part of your retirement, of your future, in a company that's diluting the shareholders and decreasing margins and burning cash? Why would you gamble your future and your kids' future and your spouse's future?
I'll be right back.
Why would you do that?
I said I'll be right back, dude.
Oh, thought somebody's breaking into your house or something. If rates don't go up, our dollar will be worthless because of inflation. I disagree. I don't think inflation is that freaking high. Okay, y'all think 5% is high, 4% is high. Go look in like the 70s. Stagflation. We had like 12% inflation, 13% inflation. This inflation ain't crap, you know, especially with our aging populations, and I think we're going to revert back to low inflation or even deflation. It's possible. I mean, it's all about populations and growth rates and who's spending money and who isn't. I think Andre Geek is not as sketchy as Millennial Money Friends. I didn't think that until Andre started pumping Million Token.
Mm-hmm.
By who was that freaking moron that did that?
Tech Lead.
Tech Lead, yeah. Andre just basically goes to the newest thing that will get the most views and give him the most money. He doesn't care about his fans. That's why he pumped Million Token. Million Token is freaking tanked. It had a massive run up, just like every other crypto, and then it freaking crashed. And I bet you a lot of his fans, after that stupid video that he made, bought into it, and they probably lost a ton of Jay.
I have his video, dude. I have his video on my site because I did a reacts to it where I said,
"Oh,
Andre
he deleted it, man. I think he deleted it." So
I know, but I still have it. It's still up on my channel. Yeah, he deleted that stuff. Somebody let me know, and I did that because I was watching the video, and it's like, if somebody was a fan of mine and they contacted me and they bought Million Token, I would say, you need to take your money now, is what I would have been saying. I would have been like, trust me on this. It may run up more, but you want to get your money out as quickly as possible. If you want to own it, leave it at 1% of your portfolio.
Million Token. I wonder what it's at right now. $20,000 per token. It's at $15. I mean, go look at every crypto, and you'll see over a long period of time, you'll see a massive spike, and then you'll see a massive dump. Happens every freaking time. Every crypto is a scam. But Andre Geek didn't care. He was like, oh, it's going to give me lots of views, and yeah. And that's why he freaking pumped it. Scumbag. Inflation isn't rising. Prices, it's an increase in the M2 money supply. I mean, honestly, like, if you think about your average life, like you think about your everyday life, think about, like, you go to the grocery store, you buy gas, you pay your health insurance, like rent, mortgage. Well, mortgage wouldn't change. You know, like, is there really that much inflation? Is it really, like this guy saying, 25%? I don't think it's 25%.
I thought it was projected to be around 8% this year. I could be wrong.
I mean, that could be on the high end, you know, but I mean, if you really think about what you're spending on food, it's not that crazy. It's maybe 5-6%, gas, you know, whatever. I mean, you have to think about your everyday life. So if somebody tells you that inflation is this, think about what you spend your money on and think, are you actually spending 25% more than you normally would on, you know, your everyday expenses?
Well, dude, I'm spending a lot more money on my steak. And I don't know if that's just because of supply chain and all that, or if it's actual inflation.
Jay, you need to switch to Tattooed Chef.
But then my blood would turn into soy.
You're so masculine. You need more soy. Okay, you're too masculine, Jay.
I'm from a different time. That's what I keep telling people when they're like, I was watching that video where they were like kicking that white dude out of the library in ASU. And I was picturing myself in that situation, and it would have just consisted of me taking off my headphones. And when they started talking, I would have been like, I don't care. And then put my headphone back in and then went right back to what I was doing.
Is that App State University?
It was at ASU, Arizona State.
Arizona. Oh, whatever. I am so glad I'm not in college anymore. I have to deal with these freaking morons. Let's see. There's so many. Oh my God, guys. There's so many comments. If I miss a comment, I'm sorry. Okay. There's just like there's a ton of freaking comments. Saw you on Independent Investor Day. It was a great show. Yes. I went on the Independent Investor and I shilled index funds. I shilled so hard. We should actually get him on, Jay. We should bring him on a Saturday night.
Who?
The Independent Investor.
I'm down for it, dude. Whoever, man.
Yeah, we'll bring him on. But he actually lives like super close to me, which is hilarious. I had no idea until he's like, "Oh yeah."
You went on his show today?
Yesterday.
Okay.
We'll bring him on. Bob is more of a sure play. Baidu is more speculative. Almost now died. Look, any Chinese stock right now, come on. I mean, like, they're probably oversold. I'm just saying.
You mean, yeah, okay. Yeah, oversold. I agree with you. The only problem I have is with people and talking about the self-driving car. I keep saying this. Like, you guys are not going to have a self-driving car on the timeline that you want.
Look, but didn't solving the money problem tell me that, Tesla's going to 20x in 5 days because they're going to have self-driving and every single person in the world is going to have a Tesla. I mean, I actually plan to buy a Tesla like next year.
Yeah, I plan on getting like the Tesla brain chip so that like Tesla just like tells me how to live.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Nerdy. I haven't seen this guy in a long time. Nerdy Fernie. What's up, Chris?
I know. I got concerned about this guy because I was like, I noticed he wasn't posting on my videos. I'm like, and then he posted on a video. But I was like, something happened to Nerdy Fernie?
He was offended by one of your videos. That's what it was.
Probably.
Nice to see you, Nerdy Fernie. I know. I mean, y'all get busy. It's okay.
Burry has been tweeting about a huge crash. Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that the entire market is overbought.
Look, I don't give a crap what Burry says. I've learned in my investing experience that I don't listen to anybody except strongman personal finance, myself. So you can listen to me and Jay, but you should also do your own research and really think. If we say something that doesn't make sense, then maybe we're wrong. Just saying.
Well, this is one thing I wanted to point out on my videos, and I will. I guarantee you I will get a stock wrong. But for me, with my Excel sheet, that Excel sheet is for me to talk myself out of buying stocks. And I would rather be wrong and not buy a stock that shoots up than buy a stock that shoots downward.
Honestly, I think it's a good thing people buy or convince themselves not to buy stocks or individual stocks. Because in the long run, if you're scared to buy individual stocks, you're just going to max your tax advantage accounts.
That's why if you look at a lot of the numbers I come up with, they're extremely conservative. They're, in fact, usually probably more conservative on average than everything money's. For that exact reason. I'm probably going to do Foot Locker. It has like a 5 price to earnings ratio, but since I don't understand the sneaker market, like, okay, somebody can tell me like, look, I understand the sneaker market. Foot Locker is going to take off. Okay, I don't, so I'm not buying it.
I mean, honestly, it's almost like common sense. It's like, okay, we printed a bunch of money. We gave people stimmy checks. Oh, a sneaker company had a bunch of nice sales. Wow, what a surprise. But it's probably temporary because we're going to stop printing money and stop sending out stimmy checks. It's probably not a buy, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, I'm not in the sneaker world. Like, I own a pair of Cocorin Marauder boots that I bought. They were $160. I'll wear them for minimum 5 to 7 years. So it's like, okay, I could go out and buy a $200 pair of sneakers that'll be done in 6 months, or I can buy this boot that's going to last me for years. So I'm not in that. That's not my thing. No, look at here. Look at my sneaker collection.
Dude, I mean, like, if there's like a retail company that has a very special niche and they had a huge revenue growth because we printed money and gave out stimmy checks, I would be very very careful before buying that company. Like Smith and Weston. Like I remember I messaged you. I was like, "Oh, this looks really good, Jay." And then I looked at it more.
I started looking into it, and we were both like,
Yeah, I was like, okay, wait, this is probably because of the election.
Mm-hmm.
Massively probably overvalued based on the last quarter or whatever of revenue. You got to be really careful.
Dude, yeah, that's the thing. Because there were record gun sales last year because of COVID.
Yeah, but just use the last quarter's revenue and then just project that forward. It doesn't matter if it's a temporary thing. Hold on. Best comment of the night. Strongman is kind of cute. I know.
You got a dude told you were cute, and that's the best comment of the night.
That is the only person that has ever told me that I was cute.
I guess that just showed my being a homophobe.
Yeah.
Weak bladder, personal finance.
Look, if y'all know me very well, like if somebody like knows me in person, they know that I piss a lot, because I drink lots of water. Okay, I'm very hydrated. So yeah, I piss a lot. Okay, I have a weak bladder. There's Jay. He's bragging right now. He's like, I'm gonna chug this water.
I piss a lot too,
dude. I piss like crazy.
Yeah, because I'll go through like so many of these a day. I'll go through like 5 or 6 of these a day.
Good. Strawman likes being called daddy, I hear. I do. I want you to spank me and call me daddy. Okay. Oh God. This stream is degenerating.
You want to call it?
Yeah, let's call it.
I know how you get after 9 o'clock.
I'm actually I'm nice and buzzed, but before I say anything stupid, we probably need to call it.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was best that I stopped drinking on these, because I was like, I'm gonna say something that's just so wrong that I'm gonna get canceled.
You just gotta know your limits, Jay, before you start talking about, like gassing people or something.
Breaking into LaBeefy's house and I don't know putting rattlesnakes everywhere in his house.
Yeah, I mean he does have like a wife and kids, and I don't want to harm the kids, whatever. I don't want anything bad to happen to them. But LaBeefy needs to be taken down. He's a scumbag. He's sick. He's a grifter. He disgusts me as a boglehead. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Call it. I'm hungry, dude. This guy's Sergio. You've been here the whole time.
I know.
I convinced you. Can I send you a super chat, Sergio? Is that possible?
Yeah, we'll call it, because I got to go take care of something.
Oh, you have to pee?
No.
Are you going to the truck stop right now, Jay?
No, I'm going to get a sleep aid.
You're going to. Okay, whatever. All right. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to Jay. I know he's bald and he's a hat, but it's okay. Subscribe to his channel, and you'll have a wonderful night.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you. All right, guys. Cheers.
All right, later. Cheers.